We have a fascinating topic for all you history buffs out there. We'll be diving into the intriguing story of the Douglas TBD-1 Devastator and how its obsolete nature influenced its mission against the formidable Japanese fleet during World War II. When you count the mistakes made by the US forces, this one stands out. Why would anyone want to deploy an ill-made Devastator as a torpedo bomber? Were there no tests done that could have prevented the loss of lives due to this obsolete fighter aircraft? Let's find out. The Douglas TBD-1 Devastator was an American torpedo bomber used by the U.S. Navy in the early stages of World War II. Designed in the 1930s, it was cutting edge at the time of its introduction, but by the time the war broke out, it had already become obsolete. Its design included a fabric-covered wing, open cockpits, and a slow top speed. These features made it vulnerable to the more advanced Japanese aircraft and formidable anti-aircraft fire. As the war progressed, the limitations of the TBD-1 became increasingly evident. Its top speed of just over 200 miles per hour and a range of around 435 miles made it a slow and relatively short-range aircraft compared to its adversaries. With that little snippet of information, let's dive deeper into the limitations of the aircraft. Outdated design. Though the design seemed top-notch while being built, it was soon declared outdated considering its incompatibility with evolved requirements. The TBD-1 was designed in the mid-1930s, and by the time it saw combat in World War II, it was considered outdated. Its fabric-covered wings, open cockpits, and overall design were reminiscent of earlier biplanes, which made it vulnerable in the fast-evolving aviation landscape. Lack of speed was another setback that caused its decline. TBD-1 was a mockery of combat aircraft given its speed. The TBD-1 had a top speed of just over 200 miles per hour. This was considerably slower than many of the Japanese aircraft it would face in combat, particularly the A6M0, which was significantly faster and more maneuverable. This lack of speed made it difficult for the Devastator to evade enemy fighters or escape from dangerous situations. Inadequate armament. It did not do justice to its Devastator tag. The Devastator was armed with a single forward-firing .30 caliber machine gun in the nose, which was operated by the pilot. Additionally, it had a rear-facing .30 caliber machine gun operated by the rear gunner. This armament was insufficient for effectively defending against enemy fighters, especially when faced with multiple attackers. One might think, how would one attack with limited range? The TBD-1 had a relatively short range of approximately 435 miles. This limited its operational radius and made it challenging to conduct long-range missions without the need for refueling or support from aircraft carriers. That was nothing short of disappointing to carry out longer and stronger combats. It was operationally impossible to pull off a mission on TBD-1. Let's now talk about the vulnerability to anti-aircraft fire. Due to its slower speed and sometimes predictable flight path, the TBD-1 was particularly vulnerable to anti-aircraft fire from ships and coastal defenses. This made it perilous for Devastators to approach enemy fleets and launch torpedoes. Quite the contrary to what one would want an attacking aircraft should be. It also used obsolete torpedo technology. The TBD-1 was equipped with the Mark 14 aerial torpedo, which was prone to technical issues and had a reputation for being unreliable. These torpedoes often failed to detonate or run correctly, further diminishing the effectiveness of the Devastator in its role as a torpedo bomber. One of the biggest limitations was limited survivability. The open cockpit design and lack of significant armor protection for the crew made the Devastator's crew highly vulnerable to enemy fire. In the heat of battle, this left them exposed to both enemy fighters and anti-aircraft fire. This was not well thought through. Leaving fighters exposed was not the best way to handle a combat. Moreover, the tactics and strategies employed by the U.S. Navy at the time also played a role in the limitations of the TBD-1. The concept of a torpedo attack was based on flying in a straight, level line toward the target, which exposed the aircraft to enemy fire without providing adequate evasive maneuvers. But the maneuvers were inefficient and tough to pull off considering all the issues that persisted with the TBD-1. This put the Devastator at a significant disadvantage when facing off against the faster, more maneuverable Japanese fighter planes like the A6M0. Now that we have discussed its limitations, let's focus on a pivotal moment in the TBD-1 Devastator's history, the Battle of Midway. This battle, fought in June 1942, was a turning point in the Pacific theater of World War II. During the Battle of Midway, the Devastators faced incredibly challenging conditions. They were sent into battle against overwhelming odds, attempting to strike the Japanese fleet. However, due to their slow speed and outdated design, they were met with devastating losses. The Battle of Midway was a harsh wake-up call for the U.S. Navy. The losses suffered by the TBD-1 Devastators called for a re-evaluation of naval aviation strategies and a push for more advanced aircraft designs. In the aftermath of Midway, newer and more effective torpedo bombers like the Grumman TBF Avenger replaced the Devastator. These aircraft were faster, better armed, and had longer ranges, addressing the shortcomings of their predecessor. The story of the Douglas TBD-1 Devastator and its impact on the mission against the Japanese fleet. Remember, history is full of lessons, and understanding the challenges faced by those who came before us helps us appreciate the strides we've made.